Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Oddly Adventures, and episode 4 in our series of our Sunfish sailboat restoration. It's winter here now, so we can't do much outside, so we're stuck to what we can do inside. And today we're going to be refurbishing the rudder and the tiller and also our Daggerboard. So let's get started. Alright, let's go ahead and get all these pieces disassembled so we can take a closer look at the wood. Alright, so we've got the entire tiller disassembled now, and now we can move on to the rudder. So now that we've got the hardware, most of it off the rudder, I'm going to go ahead and remove these metal plates that I think are holding this together because it is cracked. But I'm going to go ahead and remove these because I'm going to fiberglass over all of this anyway. Alright, now that we have the plates and all the hardware removed, we can take a closer look at this piece. As you can tell, it's got a lot of cracks in it, but it feels like they were glued back together, but as you can see, they're starting to separate a little bit. In addition, pieces down here towards the end are starting to flake off, and the wood doesn't seem like it's marine grade to begin with either. So what I think I'm going to do is, to try to maintain the shape of it, I'm just going to go ahead and fiberglass over top of this. Just go ahead and reinforce the wood, and it'll go ahead and seal everything back up too, to keep further damage from happening. Now looking at the tiller actually seems to be in pretty good shape. There's no cracks or damage or anything really to it. The only thing I dislike about it is the lack of ergonomics to it. It looks like someone cut like a 3x1 and just cut an angle in it. So what I might do is I might go ahead and kind of round the corners of these, route it out, make it look a little more aesthetically pleasing, and as well give it some ergonomics to make it easier to handle. Alright, so moving on to the Daggerboard. The Daggerboard, like the rudder, is in some pretty beat up shape. It's got some chunks of wood that are starting to break off and chip off, and it looks like it's been like this for a while, and some water started to get into the wood. So what we'll have to do is go ahead and strip this down and go ahead and fiberglass over this too, to make it last a little bit longer. Alright, so the first step to restoring this Daggerboard is going to be removing all the old varnish. The best way I found to do that is to use a heat gun and a scraper. Not really sure what this is or where I got it, but this has been the best tool so far that I've found. Scraped free, and we'll just flip it over. We'll get started on the next set. Alright, so we go ahead and get the Daggerboard fully stripped of the varnish. The next step is going to be to fully sand this thing down, and then go ahead and reinforce the parts of the board that are broken. Alright, so I've made the decision not to fiberglass this. because I've gone ahead and I've taken some measurements, and the width of the thickest part of the board that needs to fit down into the boat is 20 millimeters thick at the top here, and the thickness of the opening in the boat is only 22 millimeters. So that doesn't leave me much room up here, and I don't want to build this up too much and have the Daggerboard not fit down in the boat. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and fiberglass or reinforce with some epoxy some of the parts that are flaking down here, and then go ahead and either paint, and then probably go ahead and paint the entire thing over. We'll see though. Alright, so I went ahead and got these two pieces stripped down of varnish. I'm going to go ahead and begin sanding them to remove the little bits that are left, and to go ahead and smooth out all the surfaces. Alright, so that concludes the prepping phase of this project and part 1 of this video series. Go ahead and check out part 2 for fiberglassing and varnishing.